My wife dressed up for a secret date. When I followed her, the truth broke my heart. Here's your full emotional cinematic story with strong hook, engagement lines, and complete flow. My wife stood in front of the mirror that night, adjusting her earrings with trembling fingers, and for the first time in years, I realized she wasn't getting ready for me. Her red dress hugged her in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. Her hair was styled carefully, her makeup flawless, her eyes glowing with something I couldn't recognize anymore. It wasn't happiness, it wasn't love, it was something distant, something secret, and that was the moment my heart began to crack. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the hidden truths behind people's actions, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything. I didn't say anything to her. I just stood there in silence, pretending to scroll through my phone while my chest tightened with every passing second. She avoided eye contact, picked up her purse, and walked past me without a word. The door closed softly behind her, but inside me something slammed shut. For years we had built a quiet life together. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. We had our routines, our small jokes, our shared struggles. Somewhere along the way, things had changed. Slowly. Quietly, almost invisibly, conversations became shorter, smiles became rarer, and the warmth between us turned into something cold and unfamiliar. I had noticed it, but I never had the courage to confront it. That night, I grabbed my keys and followed her. Every step I took felt heavier than the last. My mind raced with possibilities I didn't want to believe. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe she was just meeting a friend. Maybe this was nothing. But deep down, there was a voice whispering a truth I wasn't ready to face. I kept my distance as she walked down the street, her heels clicking against the pavement like a countdown to something inevitable. She didn't look back, not even once. She got into a taxi, and I followed in my car. The city lights blurred around me as I drove, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly they hurt. My heart pounded in my chest like it was trying to escape. I kept telling myself to turn back. To trust her, to stop this before I saw something I couldn't unsee, but I didn't. The taxi stopped in front of a small, quiet building on the edge of the city. It wasn't a restaurant. It wasn't a cafe. It looked old, almost forgotten. She stepped out, paid the driver, and walked inside. I parked a short distance away and sat there for a moment, frozen. This was it. This was the moment where everything would change. I stepped out of the car and walked toward the building, my legs feeling like they didn't belong to me. Each step echoed in my ears, louder than the last. I reached the door and hesitated, but then I pushed it open. Inside, the air was different. Quiet, still, heavy. It wasn't what I expected. There were no dim lights, no music, no laughter. Instead, there were rows of chairs, soft whispers, and people sitting quietly with bowed heads. At the front of the room, a few candles flickered gently. And then I saw her. She was sitting in the front row, her head lowered, her shoulders shaking slightly. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't glowing anymore. She looked broken. Confusion rushed through me. This wasn't a secret date. This wasn't what I had imagined at all. I moved closer, staying hidden in the shadows, trying to understand what was happening. That's when I noticed the photograph placed near the candles. It was a picture of a young boy, a boy I recognized instantly. My breath caught in my throat. It was our son, the son we had lost 3 years ago. The room felt like it was spinning. Memories I had buried deep inside came rushing back all at once. The hospital room, the silence, the emptiness that followed, the way our lives had shattered into pieces we never quite managed to put back together. I had coped by shutting down, by pretending to move on, by convincing myself that time would heal everything. But she had been carrying the pain all along, alone. Tears filled my eyes as I watched her sit there, surrounded by strangers who shared the same kind of loss. This wasn't a date. This was a support group, a place where broken hearts came to breathe again, and suddenly everything made sense. The distance, the silence, the emptiness in her eyes. She hadn't stopped loving me. She had just been drowning, and I hadn't noticed. Or maybe I had noticed, but I chose to look away because it was easier than facing the truth. Guilt hit me like a wave, crashing over everything I thought I understood. I had been so consumed by my own pain, my own confusion, my own fears, that I never stopped to see hers. She wasn't hiding from me, she was protecting herself. I stood there for what felt like forever, watching her wipe away her tears, listening to the quiet voices around her sharing their stories of loss, regret, and healing. For the first time in years, I truly saw her, not as my wife, not as someone distant, but as a person who was hurting, deeply, silently, endlessly, and I realized something that broke me even more than the fear of betrayal ever could. She had been facing this alone, while I was still standing right beside her. When the meeting ended, people slowly began to leave. She stayed seated for a moment longer, staring at the photograph, her fingers gently tracing its edges. There was so much love in that small gesture, so much pain. I couldn't stay hidden anymore. I walked toward her, my heart trembling with every step. When she finally looked up and saw me, her eyes widened in shock. For a brief moment there was fear in them, as if she had been caught doing something wrong.